I'd come to a city hotel somewhere in East Africa. My journey to the secret rendezvous had been relatively easy. But for Sadiq Adem Osman, the man I was meeting, the road here had been long and traumatic.
These are all rope marks, and here's a big one.
I've been tipped off about his story by a humanitarian group, the Aegis Trust in Britain, who helped him escape from the Sudanese capital Khartoum, where he says he had been tortured by Sudanese security services.
They came from all sides. There were 3 people doing the torturing. One was doing the questioning, another beating me, another behind me. I was bleeding everywhere. I was soaked in blood. I expected to die. I never thought I'd be alive now.
Sadiq says he escaped within an inch of his life, and while the scars where he was held down with metal hooks are healing, clearly the mental scars will take much longer. So how did Mr. Osman end up in the clutches of the Sudanese security services? Answer: he had been sent to Khartoum by the British government, another failed asylum seeker. Campaigners say his case could present the most important challenge yet to the Home Office policy of deporting Darfuris to Khartoum. It was in 2004 that Sadiq fled the violence in his Darfur homeland. He says he was worried because his brother was a rebel fighter and he feared for his own life, having been previously detained and tortured. He says he decided to flee after his mother and another brother were killed when their village was attacked by the Janjaweed Arab militia and Sudan's Air Force. The UN says more than 200,000 people have been killed and 2 million others have fled Sudan's western Darfur province. Just this week, Tony Blair called the situation unacceptable, reportedly floating the idea of enforcing a no-fly zone. Encouraged by such words of international support, thousands of Darfuris like Sadiq have headed for Europe and the UK. After his arrival in Britain in 2004, he sought asylum and joined fellow Darfuris in anti-Khartoum demonstrations in London. We obtained these photos from a protest held just 15 months ago, showing a much younger-looking Sadiq. His asylum application, though, was already in trouble. The Home Office view that he should be sent back as Khartoum was safe. Sadiq's 2-year legal battle ended in failure in the court, despite what seemed to be a strong piece of evidence that he faced persecution if returned home. This, apparently a warrant for his arrest from a military court, unknown to him and presented to his family in 2004. He was sent it at the end of last year. But for the application for asylum, this document was not translated. We did translate it. It set out the reasons for the decision to arrest him, including that he'd been detained for alleged treason in 1990, and later provided information to his brother, a commander in the Sudanese Liberation Army. It warned that he faced prosecution if he failed to turn himself in. His new lawyer finds it astonishing that the Home Office failed to translate the document.
The case had gone through the whole legal system since September 2004 on the basis that he was at risk in Darfur, should not be sent back there, but it was safe to send him back to Khartoum. This document was material evidence that showed he wasn't safe in Khartoum, and it should have been translated both by the representatives and the Home Office, and it wasn't, and the system failed him.
It's a system that operates in close cooperation with the Sudanese embassy in London. Darfuri deportees are routinely brought here for processing. So I went there to talk about Sadiq's case with the recently appointed ambassador.
Hi, how are you, sir?
Even he conceded an arrest warrant would have been taken seriously by the Home Office.
Had it been correct, I mean, the Home Office here wouldn't have let him be repatriated.
But I want to understand, you just said that if the Home Office had realised what that document was, they would not have sent him back because there would have been a threat to him.
The document is just a fake. This is why the Home Office probably didn't pay any attention to it.
But according to Sadiq's lawyers, the document is authentic, as are his torture claims. I showed the ambassador the video evidence I had of Sadiq's injuries.
This is a claim he is saying from his side. As I told you, I cannot confirm or deny that this thing happened. But still,
you're not denying that.
The door is very open before him to go and seek legal advice and seek legal proceedings against whoever did that thing.
So it is possible that he was tortured?
As I said, I cannot deny, I cannot confirm. With these scars, definitely he has good case. I mean, he can just pursue it in the legal system.
And the ambassador conceded there had been abuses committed by the security services.
Violence is committed in Darfur, and lots of cases were given to the legal system, and those who committed such crimes were sentenced, and including some army officers, security officers.
So you're saying that some abuses are taking place at the hands of the security services?
In Darfur, yes, there are some violations, during the war. They are, but a thing like this to happen in Khartoum is very remote, definitely.
But campaigners say that the risk of torture in Khartoum is anything but remote, and that Darfuris detained in the UK in a new roundup in recent days could face the same fate. John Bercow, a Tory MP, raised the torture issue in the House of Commons this week after seeing our evidence.
You see what has been meted out to that individual. That is an experience that will be replicated amongst a great many others. And I would appeal to the Home Secretary John Reid to reconsider British government policy on the return of asylum seekers to fundamentally despotic and unstable regimes.
We put Sadiq's detailed claims to the Home Office, point by point. They replied with just a general statement.
In line with current case law, we continue to consider that it is safe to return to Sudan those Sudanese nationals who have been found by both the Home Office and the independent appeals process not to be in need of international protection. We do not routinely monitor the treatment of individuals once removed from the UK. We would not remove them if we considered that they were likely to suffer persecution on their return.
What happened after you were deported and when you arrived at Khartoum airport?
At his secret hideout, a leading clinical psychologist, Professor Ian Robbins, has been brought in to assess Sadiq. Both he and an independent medical examiner have judged his mental and physical condition to be consistent with undergoing torture, including whipping with electrical flex. At the time Sadiq claims it happened, following his removal to Khartoum in early February.
They took me into a small office and slapped me around and kicked me. I denied I was Sudanese. Later, I was blindfolded and taken to another location in a car. Then I was in a room and I was tied to a chair. After they tied me up, they beat me.
He says the officers showed him some photographs taken in London of Darfuri protesters.
They said to me, "Do you know the people in these photos?" My photo was amongst those they were showing me, except I looked different. I was wearing a hat and had long hair at the time. He began calling out names of people in the photos. I recognized one name.
I put Sadiq's claim to the ambassador.
It would seem that your embassy is closely monitoring Darfuris living in this country.
No.
You're not closely monitoring Darfuris living?
Absolutely not.
So why did they produce photographs showing a number of demonstrators from outside your embassy?
Well, I have no idea about this, what you are talking about, and definitely nobody is monitoring Darfuris and nobody took any pictures around this embassy.
But we have obtained this video clearly showing people inside the embassy filming Darfuri protesters and their supporters.
So what is wrong in that? How did it happen?
But I thought you said you're not monitoring the Darfuris.
Well, just to say that there is a demonstration around embassy, but it's not for individual incrimination. Definitely no.
They put the blindfold on.
Yes.
Sadiq says the worst of the torture came after he was challenged about the photographs. He was moved to an anonymous building somewhere on Khartoum's outskirts. He thought the game was up.
One of my torturers said, just finish him off, but another said, no, it's too early. Someone might hear the gunshots.
The men then left the building, and Sadiq made his move. Using a shovel to tear through the ropes binding his hands, he managed to escape, running outside and seeking help from a farmer nearby. His new lawyers plan to use his evidence of abuse, along with the alleged mishandling of his asylum case, to seek judicial review.
I don't have wife, I don't have anything, just allow.
His case presents a moral challenge to Tony Blair's vocal outrage over what is happening to Darfuris. For Sadiq, words of support count for little now. He cannot rest until he finds a country of refuge, of safety, that he can call home.